I've been laid off 8 times. It's crazy, man. Like the first time I got laid off, I was it was my very first accounting job, right? Fresh out of college. I thought I was a shit when I first got that job, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, I got an office job, bragging to all my friends. And they eventually laid me off, and the first time was like, it was devastating, man. Like, it was one of the worst feelings in the world, because my kids were both babies at the time, you know what I mean? And my wife was new at her career, you know what I mean? So it was like, it was a big deal. Then, like, it's crazy. Like, I kept trying to pursue my accounting career, and it was because, you know, I went to school for accounting, and so I was like, this has got to be the path, you know. So I kept pushing. Every time I got laid off, I just kept going. I just kept applying for another accounting job, and you know, I went through temp agencies too, right? And I ended up working there, you know, for like 3 months, one job, and then another job was 6 months, until I finally landed another job that was, I think it was like a year or so, and I felt comfortable. I got laid off again. So like probably about like the second to last job, right? Accounting job I had. I started learning from my mistakes. So I just kind of went into the job assuming they were going to lay me off eventually, assuming it wasn't going to be permanent. So then I literally just started saving money. Like, I was making good money, and so I saved, you know, a portion of it. I think it was like $100 or so at the time. I saved $100 a week. And so by the time I got laid off, about like the 7th time, it wasn't as upsetting, right? Because I had a little bit of money saved. I wasn't rich at the time. Well, I didn't have much. So then by the 8th time, I got like the 8th job, I was there for probably about, what, a year and a half maybe? And I got laid off again. They were making cuts or whatever. But by the 8th time, I straight up was in the stock market, right? I had a good habit of saving money because I was paranoid, man. It straight up made me paranoid. Like, I was like, you never know when you can lose your job. So I just saved mad money, put mad money away. And psychologically, we were just so accustomed to me getting laid off that, you know, every time I told my wife, she was like, okay, let's pivot, let's prepare. And we had a plan. By the 8th time, by the 8th time, we straight up were mad prepared. We were just like, all right, we know what to expect. We got to make sure we cut this, because this is a luxury, and start tapping into the savings, but don't take everything out. Keep a little bit in the stock market, kind of thing, right? And so the biggest lessons I learned was you got to prepare. Even if you think you're going to stay at that job for a long time, prepare, man. Like, when you get a new job, start saving instantly. Even if it's a little amount, make sure you have something, man, because that makes you feel way better than if you had absolutely nothing in your bank account. Like the first, you know, 4, 5 times I was laid off, I straight up had nothing in the account. I was just overspending. I had mad credit card debt, nothing saved. It got to the point, I think it was the third time I got laid off. I think they repossessed our car and stuff, and that was like, I felt like shit. One time we were late on our rent so much to the point where we had to go to court, you know what I'm saying? And we felt like criminals because I got laid off and we couldn't afford to pay our rent. So then next thing you know, like I said, we're in court because we can't pay our rent. So dude, the biggest lessons I learned was save your money and prepare for that new job to just cut you, because they don't give a shit about you. You know what I mean? And then once you feel that way, you're free. You know what I mean? You're free to just kind of not be as paranoid when you get that new job, because you got money saved. and mentally you're prepared for whatever. And for whatever reason, that gives you a better mindset at work. You're just freer, you know what I mean? And yeah. Let's see. Another thing I learned was it's not the end. You know, like the first time I straight up thought I'm ruined. It's over, right? Even when they took our car, I was like, oh man, it's done. How are we gonna get a new car? You know what I mean? But eventually it goes away, things get better, and you rebuild, right? So it's never the end. So don't think that way, you know what I mean? Don't think you're dumb. Don't think you're the only person that's happening to, because it happens to literally millions of people. So yeah, save your money, believe in yourself, know it's not the end, and keep on going. You gotta trust that your skill set will pay off, man, you know? And if you weren't feeling that career to begin with, maybe see it as an opportunity to pivot, right? Because that's what I did, man. I straight up, like I said, by the 8th time, I was just like, I had a business, I had a cleaning business, I had money saved in the stock market, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm taking that leap, man. I'm doing my own thing. I don't think just doing accounting is my calling. And, you know, here I am still doing my thing. So, yeah, that's all I have to really say today. I just want to make a quick message. And let me know if you guys like this stuff. And, yeah. Take it easy.